5 tips flying SSTO. Number 1. Takeoff. Before flying down the runway, be sure to set action groups to limit the amount of right-clicking on parts. Set things like closing air intakes or switching engine modes. Action groups help with making split-second decisions. Design your aircraft with landing gear near the center of mass. This will help you pick up your nose. Larger aircraft may need the full extent of the runway. Just be sure your aircraft has enough thrust to push its weight uphill. Number 2. Ascent Profile. Keep an eye on the thickness of the air you're flying through, indicated by the needle underneath of your altitude, as it moves through the 3 different shades of air. The thick air near the ground, and the thinner air as you go further up. While flying in the first shade of air, I try to fly at about a 45-degree angle. That's the first 90 on the nav ball. As you fly out of the thick air, into the darker shade of air above, level off your ascent. Try to fly at about a 30-degree angle. Your objective in this thinner air is to build up as much speed as possible. Keep an eye on your air intake. When this value in your resources tab drops near 0, switch to liquid engines. Number 3. Uphill. Pitch back up to a 45-degree angle and climb out of the atmosphere like you would any other rocket launch. It's also a good idea to close air intakes and activate your RCS thrusters as you exit the atmosphere. This will help you build speed and maintain control. Keep an eye on your engine's overheat, but also your apoapsis as you fly to orbit. Number 4. Coasting. After your trajectory has reached a desired apoapsis, kill your thrust and coast just like you would with any other rocket. This can be a good time to switch engines on or off to an orbital configuration. Plan a maneuver and follow it into orbit. Number 5. Landing. After your spacecraft has made it to orbit and accomplished its mission, the next most important phase is getting it home in one piece. Fire your engines against your velocity, like you would with any other rocket. I generally try to aim just south of the island off to the east coast. Aim to contact the thin air layer of atmosphere above the mountain range. This will bring you down near the space center. If you don't see the re-entry effects until after you've passed over the mountain range, you're going to land long, and it might be a good idea to aim for the island runway instead. Open up your air intakes and switch to air-breathing engines if you need them to fly back to the runway, or perform your glider landing. Lift your nose and try to bring the yellow prograde indicator above the horizon as you contact the ground. Tug up your nose to bring your prograde indicator up, but also bleed off speed as you approach the ground. Apply your brakes and bring your Kerbals safely home to the Space Center. Thanks for watching. Join me next time for 5 tips with Time Warp.